Hi guys, so welcome to our sales call training. So we're just going to go through the strategy. There's 17 steps, I think it is. But we're just going to go through them one by one. So this is when you get someone on the phone and they've gone through your funnel, and we're going to try and sell them now. So first of all, we're going to start with rapport. So when you answer the phone, we don't want you to just say, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Because that's not rapport. That's just saying, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," and then you'll start. You don't just go into the next step. A real rapport is say, "Oh, hi, how are you keeping?" They'll say, "Hi, I'm fine." So can you just, an easy one we use is, "Can you tell me where you're from?" And they might say, "Oh, I'm from Clare, Limerick, wherever," and say, then you could say something about sports or something, but, "Oh, I went to college with a fella from there, I was up there on holidays," whatever it is. And then, so if you can imagine, if someone rings me and says, if I ring them and say, "Hi, how are you?" And they say, I ask them where they're from, and they say, "Oh, I'm from Tip," and I say, "Oh, I'm from Limerick, so are you into the hurling?" And then, "Oh, were you at the Limerick and Tip match last week?" And they might say, "Oh, yeah, my brother is, or my cousin, or whatever, plays for Tip." Then straight away, that's real rapport. You're actually having a conversation like you'd meet someone on the street, and then then you move on to the next step. So the next step is set expectations. So what we're going to do is we're going to say to them, um, we want them to say yes as many times as possible. It's kind of a psychological thing, because if they hear themselves saying yes, it's better. It's better for us. Um, so so basically, what you're going to say is you're going to set expectations. You're going to say, "I'm just going to run through with you what we do, and then if you think we can help you, and we think you can help you, then I'll give you the option to sign up at the end." So at the start, we're already saying, yeah. So we're basically saying that we want them to make a decision at the end of the call. So that kind of takes us to our next step, and we're kind of setting the expectation that they will make a decision, yes or no, at the end of the call. Identify the decision maker. This kind of would be something we use kind of for business and stuff. Say like, "Oh, do you have a business partner?" And like that. A lot of you will be dealing with people who want to improve themselves in a gym sense, and how they look and everything. So they will a lot of the time be the decision maker. So you can kind of move on. So then the next step 4, is find the reason. Excuse me. So what we want to do is basically find the reason that they're on the call. Ask them straight out: is there a reason you're here? Like, so if it's preparing for your wedding, when is it, etc., etc. And then we are going to start to dig. So by dig, I mean, if they're overweight, we're gonna keep asking them. So you could simply say, "Tell me more about that." So you don't ask them straight out how overweight they are. We'll get to that in a while. So we might say, "Have you tried any other diets, or have you tried other PTs?" And then kind of, yeah, we want to dig a small bit to find out a bit more. We don't just want to say, "Oh yeah, I'm overweight." We want to say, "Oh, have you tried other things? What isn't working for you? Is it your diet? Can you not exercise?" We just want to dig a small bit more. So then that continues on into our next step, which is identify their current situation. That being, have they been going to the gym for a while? Have they hit a plateau? Um, have they struggled with their diet? Have they just fallen away from their diet? And we continue asking questions like that, so we get a better idea of where they're at. So this kind of continues on then to extracting pain. So the next step is, we want them to realize that they don't know what they're doing. We want them to admit that if possible. So we say to them, we've already learned, let's say, that they're struggling to lose weight because of their diet. We'll say, "Oh, is it that you don't know what foods to eat? Is you don't know when to eat?" And then we'll kind of extract that pain, and they'll it'll start to open up in their own mind that, "Geez, I don't know what I'm doing here." So we move on then to the next step. So we identify where they are. So for a lot of you, this will be, let's say, it's weight loss. We're not just going to pop out and ask, and it might be, "Oh, what do you bench?" or "You're a power lifter," or whatever it is. But we're not just going to jump out and ask, "What do you weigh?" We're going to summarize it differently. We're going to say, "So where are you now, and where do you want to be?" And then you're going to say, I just kind of want to get an idea of where we are now and where we want to be, instead of just coming straight out and asking, so what do you weigh? Because obviously, or what do you bench? Because some people don't want that. It's an awkward situation. It's an awkward question to ask, but it's also awkward to answer, definitely. So yeah, so that's what we do there. And then we identify where they want to be. Kind of speaks for itself. So then we say, so on where do you want to be? How much do you want to lose? How much how much weight do you want to gain? How much stronger do you want to get? And you can ask them straight out, because that's kind of quite an easier question to ask, because they want to get there and they've been thinking about this. And then maybe if someone says, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds and I'm 150, then it kind of, this might be a red flag to say this isn't kind of someone I want to work with, because they're unrealistic about their goals. And then again, we kind of dig in, we say, and identify why they want to be there. So for someone who is getting married and they want to fit in their wedding dress, we kind of ask them, is there any specific wedding dress you want, sir? Is there a specific reason? We want more emotion around it every time, because it's fine saying, oh yeah, I want to be fit for my wedding, but do you want to, you kind of ask them, is there a reason that you want to lose 20 pounds for your wedding? Is it because your mother is always going to be taking out these wedding pictures and showing them to people? Is it that you don't ask these questions, but you ask them why? Is there a specific reason for that? Because they might say, oh, basically, a woman might say, oh, my mother gave me her wedding dress and she's 5 sizes smaller than I was, and I want to fit in that wedding dress, or whatever it might be. And then that kind of gets them thinking about, okay, I really need to do this. It gets it in their head. So we want them to admit something. So we want to admit them that they can't do it on their own. So what we can do here is you can kind of ask them, so what's stopping you doing it on your own? Sometimes they might say, oh, I can do it on my own, but it's not very often from my experience on calls. A lot of the time they'll want to do it faster, or they will want some guidance of how to do it. So we want to make them admit that. Again, it's a psychological thing to think, oh, okay, I really need this. Again, we secure commitment through emotion. It's actually supposed to be through emotion. You might need to do this, but if you've gotten enough information, and like she's told you about the wedding dress, that her mother's wedding dress she wants to fit into, or that the photos or whatever, you can kind of skip the step. But if you've failed on previous attempts to dig, as we say, and get to the root of why they really want it, then here you give it another go. It's, is there a reason? What is this specific reason? Because if they admit that specific reason to you, it is much easier to sell than to close. Yeah, so that's just another attempt there. After you make them admit that they really need it, then they might be willing to open up and tell you why. So we continue on down. Then you customize the offer. So basically, if they've told you, I have, the reason that I'm here is I don't know what food to eat and I really want to lose weight. I'm brilliant in the gym, but I don't know what food to eat. Then you customize the offer here. Then you don't go on about everything that's in your program, that you teach them how to do loads of different exercises and how to exercise from home and all that. They know how to do that. But you customize the offer and say, I teach people how to eat properly and when to eat and what to eat. And you customize the offer towards them. On the other end, if someone knows exactly what to eat, their diet isn't the problem, they have no idea how to exercise or get out, and they sit in an office all day, then you customize the offer and say, I am an expert in teaching people how to exercise, and you can do it from home. You don't need to go to a gym, whatever it might be. So I just want to write this down here, and it's for this one. Let's move this 2 seconds. Okay, so I specialize in X. So that's for you there. You can fill that in. So if they've said, oh, I'm terrible at diet, I help people who are struggling with their diet lose weight by learning how to eat properly and doing intermittent fasting or whatever it might be for you. So then you ask, you wait for your questions. After you've customized your offer, you've sold it to them, they think, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. Then you wait for the price question. You can open up the floor and say, ask them for questions, right? So if you have any questions now, you can ask. And then you just simply go ahead and you answer the questions. Once you shouldn't really be caught. They'll ask a lot of the same questions will be asked over and over again. And then what you do is you wait for the price question. You never ask it. You never ever say to them, oh, do you want to know how much it costs? Wait for them to get off their chest all their questions, and then eventually they're going to ask you how much it is. The very odd time, they might not. They might just be asking so many questions, and eventually you might have to say, so do you want to know how to get into the program? Don't come straight out and say, oh, it's X amount for X amount of days. So yeah, so you state the incentive then. So you give the price. Let's say it's €1,000 for a month, or whatever your price is. Well, you've gone into your pricing and all that already. So you state the incentive. Say, I am going to give you an Action Makers deal today. So if you take action and you buy on the call, then I am going to give you 20% off. And you need to give them a reason for doing this, because it just seems like, oh, I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get you to buy straight away over the phone. I want money. But the reason that we give people is, and it's true, the people who take action and the people who buy in straight away are the people who often do the best. And I want the best testimonials, and I want the best reviews. And like, we're not just selling programs for the sake of making money. We want to help people improve. So you say to them, my best clients and my best testimonials and my best reviews come from people who buy in straight away. And we've looked at all the people who've gone through it so far, and that's why we're giving you a discount. So that's your state incentive. And then this is very important. You shut up. Once you've given them the price, you shut up and you do not speak. Whoever speaks loses. It's as simple as that. They might sit there for 5 minutes thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Do not say anything. Just sit there. Do not say anything. You won't be on video call. You'll be over the phone. You can do it over Skype. We don't like doing over video because it's more likely for your internet to go down, and you don't need to be speaking to them face to face. Can if you want, but it's just, we've had a few calls where it dropped off just vital moments and there's no getting it back then. So over the phone is fine. But then you just shut up. You do not say anything. You just sit there and let them come to a decision. That's it. So yeah, so then the second they say yes or no, say, yeah, I'm in. If they say I'm in, say, yeah, that's perfect. Go ahead with your card details and we'll show you what payment processors is set up so they can pay. And then you say, but straight away, don't say, oh, great decision or whatever. Say, okay, perfect. Go ahead with the card number there and just take it straight away. Done. So then we're just going to quickly run through overcoming objections now as well.